Welcome back to Gaming with Spoons. I want to talk about a very controversial subject. I do imagine this video may piss off some people on both ends of the spectrum, but you know what? I think it's something that needs to be talked about. This is Nintendo going in and shutting down Love Retro and LoveRoms sites, completely doing away with them. Now, Nintendo's no stranger to trying to protect their intellectual properties. As a matter of fact, when it comes to Nintendo, they are probably one of the most irritating companies to deal with when it comes to this, especially if you're a YouTuber, especially if you're a Let's Play channel, especially if you're a streamer. We all know the crap that Nintendo tries to pull with that garbage. But the emulation community isn't also exempt from this either. Nintendo has every right to go in and pull down their intellectual properties on these games. They own the rights to them, they have the rights to distribute them, they have the rights to pull them down even if they don't want to distribute them. They are Nintendo's properties and they have the right to do what they want with them. But Nintendo, as good as their efforts have been to put these games available for us to buy, it's a bit of a rocky road. Because, let's face it, Nintendo hasn't exactly been too kind with GameCube releases. Even Nintendo 64 releases, they really haven't tried to do anything with. Mario Party 2 has been the only Mario Party game to make it to Virtual Console. Mario Party 3 on the Nintendo 64 were left out, and as I said, Nintendo hasn't really done anything with GameCube games, maybe aside for the Metroid Prime trilogy, which was ported to the Wii and eventually the Wii U on the Wii U shop. So there is that right there. They don't have the right, however, to go in and pull down other companies. As I said, that relies solely on those companies themselves. Namco doesn't want their games? Fine. Namco needs to go in and pull them down. Same with Bandai, same with Atlas, same with Sega, same with Konami, same with Capcom. That is on them. However, there are games, unfortunately, that have lost their trademarks, that these companies don't have rights to redistribute or remake, and those games get pulled down, they're gone for good. That's absolutely 100% it. There's no way to go in and preserve these games. The emulation community and the ROM community really started because of a bunch of dedicated fans to these consoles, to these games, that wanted to preserve the legacy of video games. After all, each and every single one of these games and consoles has been a part of history that does need to be preserved. The film industry has something intact very similar that allows the redistribution of these movies through said reselling through it. I mean, you can find a lot of different movies from throughout the years, but video games don't have that luxury. Namely, because not very many companies are going to continue to develop old systems repeatedly over and over when their new systems come out, because while there would be a chunk of people who would go out and buy those systems to relive those memories and be able to play those games again, it's not 100% beneficial. We've definitely seen this through Nintendo's efforts to try and make a classic console systems. I think, though, that something does need to be done. These video games do need to be preserved somehow, and again, as I said, if they're intellectual properties that these companies own, go down and pull them out and redistribute them yourselves. That's fine. Take the initiative to go in and do that. Again, if you're not, I kind of feel like you should just leave them alone because you clearly have no desire bringing that game over to a modern system or remastering or porting it over. You know, let people experience your game for what it was at least, and be a part of history. I'm just saying. I think another thing that Nintendo really needs to focus their efforts on is bringing over more GameCube games. Let's talk about ROM hacks and ROM translations or localizations that fans have done, fan translations, because this is actually a big part of what the emulation community has become, and it's really great. There are games, especially from the Japanese market, that we never get our hands on. Every year there are quite a few games that never make it overseas, unfortunately, make it outside of Japan, which is unfortunate. because they're all part of the culture. Being someone who enjoys Japanese games myself, seeks out those rare Japanese RPGs or obscure Japanese games, it's frustrating to me to see so many not come over. The emulation community has gone above and beyond to make fan translations to give us the most accurate depiction that they possibly can of each said games. I mean, we've seen this with the Shin Megami franchise, where they've made the first ones available. You know, Mother 3 has a fan translation because dedicated fans, again, wanted people to be able to experience that game, since Nintendo had no prerogative to bring that game over. So there are definitely instances where fans are being able to do this, and we're being able to play these games that companies never brought over in the first place. Again, it is a gray area, but it definitely makes sense. Then there's ROM hacks. Now, Nintendo's gone through and shut down some ROM hacks, or people that have gone in and recreated new games on their engines. Again, they have a complete right jurisdiction to do so, but Sega did something very interesting with this as well. Rather than going in and shutting down Chris Whitehead and saying he couldn't do this anymore, destroying that whole community around the Sonic ROM hacks, they again took him in, saw what he could do with coding, and he eventually went on to make Sonic Mania for Sega. Sega clearly saw how much the community ended up enjoying his work, and let's face it, Sega needed to do something with Sonic, and you know what? Why not bring somebody in who knows what he's doing? And that's kind of how that was spawned. That was a pretty awesome thing to do. Like I said, this is a very controversial topic to make. I imagine I'm going to frustrate people on both ends, because on the legal side of everything, I can see it, but being a gamer, I can also see where ROMs are important as well. So I want to hear your thoughts, your opinions on this. What do you guys think? How do you think the video game industry should be preserved? How do you think they should go about making sure that these games are being able to be distributed? I feel like heading off into a digital era, this may be something that we could potentially explore, but it's very difficult to go in and say how to go about that. But this is an unfortunate problem that definitely does plague the video game industry, because as gamers, as fans of growing up these games, we want to be able to share these games with our kids. We want to be able to go back and replay these games. And these consoles back in the day that were built, as durable as some are, they're not meant to last. Eventually, each and every single one of the NESs out there is going to die. It's going to stop working. It's going to not be able to read games. It's not going to last forever. We've heard problems with the Sega Saturn going out and the parts not even being able to be replaced. People aren't even being able to fix them because they don't make the parts needed to be able to fix that anymore. So there's that there as well. And it's very unfortunate that that's kind of the way the video game industry goes. But I'm curious to hear your thoughts, your opinions, so leave those down below in the comment box. Be sure to hit subscribe there for me to keep up to date with all of my content. You can follow me on Facebook and Twitter. Links are going to be down below in that description box. You guys have been watching Gaming with Spoons, and most importantly, stay happy, be happy, game happy. Spoons is checking out. And one last thing, I am at 149 subscribers. One away from hitting 150. It's probably bound to happen within the next week to hit over 150. But I did just want to say thank you. Thank you so much for subscribing to the channel and sticking around. 150 subscribers may not seem that much, but just to know the fact that 150 people liked one of my videos or my videos enough to subscribe to me means the world. So I'll just close out the video by saying that.